The following is a Podbeard production.
From the deepest bowels of your imagination.
Actually, he's from Canada there, bud.
From the famed Hodder Show studios, this is The Hodder Show.
What is up, everybody? We are Rolling Audio here today on episode 207 of The Hodder Show. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Thanks so very much for tuning in and clicking that play button on today's episode of the podcast. Another full video episode of The Hodder Show. I figured after last week when I did the first full intro, outro, main part video, I figured why not do this one the same as well. Seeing as how it is part 2 of my chat with Will from Rawls Royce, which is a full-length video interview. This week, we focus a little more on the band and the music, while still, of course, having lots of other funny tangents. Near the end, we also get a little political, which is interesting, because I don't tend to get very political on this show. At least it's very rare if I ever do, seeing as how I'm not a very political person. But as you will hear, I do admit that I need to pay it a little more attention. And it's interesting, Will is a very political person, as you will hear in last week's episode and this week's episode. He's also very educated, which is interesting. He's probably like the most educated person that's ever been on my podcast, or at least one of them, to my knowledge. Okay, if you've been on my show and you're working towards your doctorate, I apologize. But to me, he's the most, definitely one of the top educated people that's ever been on my show. And definitely one of the smartest. So it was funny. He's just sitting there, my dumb ass. I'm just like, yes. I don't know anything. So it was a great part 2. I can't wait for you guys to hear. But before we get into that, I want to make sure everybody is well aware of the fact that if you are in need of tickets for any kind of event, whether it's a sporting event, a concert, any kind of theater event, or anything of that nature, you do not need to worry about going to any of the big guys and paying too much money to get your tickets that may not work. You can't get your refund. It's all a bunch of baloney. You don't need to worry about that. All you need to do, folks, is go on seatgiant.com or .ca, depending on where you are. If you're here in Canada, it's .ca, of course. Go on there and go to the event you want. For example, if you want tickets for, say, a concert that's coming through town, all you do is go to the concert section, find whatever genre you're looking for, find the band playing. Super, super easy to use. Or you can just search for the event. Go on there. They have a really nice seating map set up with a little light up thing to show you exactly where the seat is and what exactly the price is. You can scroll through and compare prices. It's super easy, super, super convenient to use if you guys aren't sure where exactly you want to sit, or even how much money you want to spend. If it's a band that you like, but you're kind of like, I don't want to pay too much money for floor seats or whatever, but then you don't want to be too far. With this little map they have, you will see exactly where you are. And it's super easy to use. Even I can figure it out, okay? And let's be honest, okay? I'm not the smartest guy in the world. So if I can figure it out, you guys can certainly figure it out. And when you're on there at checkout, you will see all of the different added funds that will need to be as far as like if there's any kind of venue costs or anything at all like that for the ticket. And while you are there, making sure there's no hidden fees or anything, because with Seat Giant there is not, you can use the coupon code PODBEARD. That is PODBEARD, PODBEARD. Save yourself a little something at checkout. All you got to do is enter a few letters and you'll save yourself a little something. It is awesome. Super, super awesome. And they're great people. When you do get tickets and go to enjoy your event, be sure to share a picture to myself, The Hodder Show, Podbeard Network, or any other fine programming on Podbeard Network that is participating in this little partnership we're doing with Seat Giant. Be sure to share a picture of us so we can share it to them. They'll share it. They care about your event. They want you to have fun. That's why they offer such great service, and also do offer a full money back guarantee if you have any issues as far as your ticket not working or the event being canceled and then they're not giving you your money back. Just contact Seat Giant and they got you covered. So don't mess around with any other site. Go on Seat Giant today. That's either seatgiant.com or .ca, and use the coupon code PODBEARD, all lowercase, one word, to save yourself a little something, something. Speaking of a little something, something, let's get into part 2 of my chat here with Will. You guys will also notice that I'm, of course, enjoying another couple beers on this episode. So I'm a little more loosey-goosey for the political talk near the end of it. It was a lot of fun. Will was a great guest. I'm not going to mess around anymore. Can't wait for you guys to check this out. Let's get into it. back
We
to
have
part
touched
two.
back to
We had to do a
first-
part two. I'm like,
part-
man.
there's gonna be a part 3 at our rate.
And that's like I say, man, this is the podcast I really love, where it's just, because you never really know how it's going to go. You sit down with someone, especially over Skype like this, like you never truly know how it's going to be. And like, I was like, man, I'm like 5 minutes in and I'm like, shit, this is going to be a 2-parter.
This is one of those cases where at first you meet someone and it's like a blind date and you're kind of testing the waters a bit. And then after a while you start to feel a little more comfortable. Like I feel like right now Hutter and I are going to go on a second date. And I can say that for sure. Yeah, absolutely happening.
There's going to be, but the next one's going to be in person. I think we need to make.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. Except you're buying dinner. I mean, I need to be wined and dined. I mean, come on. Okay. If I'm going out to your end of the woods, you best believe there better be a beer in the fridge for me.
Oh, brother, I'll get you the best that we'll get you the best that Newcastle has to offer.
Oh darn, this is great. I don't even know where that is. I know it's somewhere near Peterborough. That's all I know.
No.
Are you near the Schwa?
Yes, I'm about half an hour away from the Schwa. So we're pretty out there. We're a small town and
it's good.
Bunch of rednecks. Yeah, man. I'll take you out for some wings. We'll get some beers.
Oh, I can do all those things.
Yeah, man, it'd be a good
time. I was built for. That's how I keep my physique so perfect. If it wasn't for the chicken wings and the beer, I'm just an Adonis of a male. All right, let's keep going here.
You'll buy chicken wings, beers. So there's a lot of things I do want to talk about. And I mean, part one was just great stuff. But I do want to ask, we talked a little bit about kind of like your start with music and your kind of your history with death metal and that and the black and death metal, excuse me. Yeah. And the band.
You don't want to start that again. Okay?
I don't want to start that again. The metal elitist talk.
I will drive to Newcastle and settle the score. And you don't give me this list of like, oh, I have all these IKEA furnitures, and you're gonna try to pass it off as true black metal. I know. Believe me, I know.
I know what they are, bro. He knows them. Don't at him, folks. He knows them, okay?
I know what they are, man.
We're gonna do something one day where I'm gonna be like, is it like
black metal or IKEA furniture?
Black metal or IKEA furniture, yeah. Yep. Well, oh man, but so you were talking a little bit on part one there about kind of the first music that you kind of discovered and were kind of introduced to, but what made you want to actually start playing music and start writing? Like, was there like kind of like a specific time or a band or a person that really kind of influenced that for you, or?
Kenny G. His sultry saxophone.
So that's what I figured.
Just inspired my loins and moistened me to the prospect of writing music.
That's what I figured.
No,
I listened to Rawls Royce and I'm like, I hear some Kenny G influence.
It's true. We do. We have saxophones on the record, and it's excellent. I hate playing other people's music. I always like to get a guitar and kind of noodle, and do my own thing. It's like what Kanye West said about sounds are like paint, and the canvas is like writing a song. He didn't say it like that. He also said something about Donald Trump. I don't know. Honestly, take Kanye West like
the greatest.
Greatest of all time. Yeah, I know. I mean,
I'm the new rock star.
I am Elvis. I am Jesus Christ. Yeah, I know.
There was this. I'm sorry, but really quick, I got to tell you this story because I know I get a kick out of this.
All right.
Are you familiar with a band called Saliva?
Yeah. Click, boom.
Bro. Yo, I love all Saliva, but the vocalist Toshi Scott has a really funny, quick story where he talks about when he got called by Jay-Z to do some vocals on a song. It was the diss track for Nas. And so he goes,
wait. Toshi Scott would have been on a Jay-Z song?
Yeah, man. I've never been able to find this song. But I think it was like he was going to be or something, or I don't know. Apparently it was on the Takeover record, but like,
okay.
I don't know. I was looking up on Spotify. I'm like, yo, where's this record? This record doesn't exist anymore.
2019's not even ready to find that.
Yeah, dude.
Like if that dropped, the internet would shut down. It would shut down.
If Toshi Scott just came back at all, the internet would shut down.
We need less Greta Van Fleets and we need more Josie Scott.
Oh my God. We need more literally anything other than Greta Van Fleet.
More of that, yeah. Oh, whoa. Yo, you're gonna get me into a beef with a band that's worth more than my house. Let's do
same.
It. I don't own a house, so I mean, objectively, it's worth more. So,
I would like to say again on record, I have nothing but respect for the fine gentlemen of Greta Van Fleet and wish them nothing but success in the future.
Them real good boys. Them good boys. They play nice. They play together. And you have to do one of those like hockey interviews where they're like, so what are you gonna do next period? Well, we're gonna drive the puck up the ice. We're gonna try to open up some chances. Hopefully, we'll get some chances, and we'll even it up.
Of course, that's a hockey interview.
That's every hockky interview. It's like, why even interview people? All right, so back to interviews.
Yeah. Okay.
Back to it. Get.
Yeah. But so the punchline of the story is the fact that he shows up at this studio, and there was a young up and comer producer sitting there, whose name is Kanye West. And he goes, Jay-Z's like, hey man, this is my friend Kanye.
Who's Kanye West? You mean Yeezus?
Yes, Yeezus. Excuse me.
Or Ye. Actually, now
Ye.
he's legally artist formerly known as Ye.
Can do it.
Are you in there? Where are you, Hunter? Okay, there you go. I thought your screen froze. My apologies.
But like, he goes, like this is my friend Kanye West. He's like, hey Kanye, how's it going? And the first thing he says is, I'm gonna be the greatest rapper in the world. And Josie Scott goes, oh, okay, well, it's nice to meet you. And this is like 2001, so like he was like, this guy's fucking crazy. Well, yeah, that was my Kanye West story.
But was he wrong?
I mean,
Saliva, where art thou?
I mean, they're still around. They just got a new singer.
Spoke Ye. Ye spoke.
Ye.
The clouds part. Honestly, when I saw Kanye West, and Kendrick Lamar, and I think this is back 2012. It's when Yeezus came out. I saw him live, and it was ACC or whatever it's called now, Scotiabank. I don't know what it's called anymore.
The arena that's
whatever. You know what it is. Yeah. Anyways, there's a segment of the performance where he had this mountain on stage, and it's split in half. And he was on one side of the stage, and Jesus Christ was on the other side. And he came out to, like, meet him. And that happened.
That was a thing that happened.
No, that happened. That happened. Also, Drake came on at one point, too. It was like Drake was just there. It's like, oh, pick me. I just was watching the Raptors. I was actually in their change room. I came back up. I'm just smack talking. This is smack talk zone, man. All right, back to the questions. Back to the question.
I know.
I didn't tell you that story. It's so weird. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in the show.
Well, like, and when we started this, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try and keep, but that's just what happens sometimes here on the Hotter Show. That's what the people want. That's what the people get. But so when you started off playing music, like, did you start off playing guitar, or were you like, oh, I'm gonna be a vocalist? Because like, I didn't really say this on part one, but like, I think you are a phenomenal vocalist, by the way. Let me just throw that out there. So, like, did you always want to sing and write, or were you just like, I'm gonna just play the guitar? Like,
truth be told, no. I started out like playing guitar, and in fact, when I was playing metal, is there is the whole guitar culture that you kind of get, the shred culture that you get sucked into. So it's always like, I want to play guitar, I want to be like the best, and all this, and then you realize like, a lot of girls don't care about that.
Girls do not give a shit about how fast you can play.
When you're like 16 years old, they don't care. They care if you can play Wonderwall. And it becomes like no, seriously, it's like, shut up, play Wonderwall, Or you do
this song is called, I wrote it. It's called Water.
No, it's true. It's like no one cares. It's like they don't care about Yngwie Malmsteen. Like no one cares.
They do not give a shit.
They don't give a shit. It's you go to those shows. It's all just like guys like washing his hands. It's like the weirdest shit ever. It's like I don't even touch NAMM for that reason. It's so strange. It's like a weird cult.
I almost went to NAMM one year and I was like, oh man.
No, I love it now. Now I can buy my pedals online. They just show up.
It's great.
Oh, it's great. I just buy all those like bootleg Behringer pedals.
Dude,
they're
the
so
Behringer
good.
stuff is great.
So good. Yeah, I love it.
Shout outs to Behringer. I use all Behringer products here on the Hotter Show for a long period of time.
$30 pedals. They're the best thing in the world.
We used to sell them at the store too. They were great.
Oh, they're wicked. And people just
don't at me.
Like,
that delay.
No, people just complain. They're like, oh, but the case isn't sturdy enough. It's plastic. It's like, yeah, if you're gonna sit there and stomp on it, but I mean, like, if you treat it like a pedal, like if you treat it with some respect, it'll last a long time.
It's not
And
metal
like,
zone, bro.
it's like, dude, even at that, if I break one, it's $30. How many pedals? Like, it's like, yeah, it's like, dude, you get like some of those like $200 Boss pedals. It's like, fuck that, it's not worth it. Buy one for your friend. Buy one for your mom. Actually, you look at you trying to sell on me. You're trying to do your. I got one of the ripoffs of the was it the HM1?
Okay,
Boss? Yeah. I got that Mad and Tomb tone going on. Oh, it's so sultry.
That was a tone.
That was a tone. That's just a buzzsaw. That Entomb tome. Entomb tome. The other one I got this. I don't know if you ever heard of the Boss Super Fuzz. They used to make those in the in the 90s, right?
Super Fuzz, bro.
Super Fuzz, and I have it's like in there. The Behringer is an exact clone. I got it so I could play like the stoner doom metal stuff. Like I love Electric Wizard and Sleep and all those kind of bands. So
Sleep,
yeah,
man.
Matt Pike,
as a guy, dude. Oh my God, Matt! As a dude who is not a stoner guy even remotely, like it's just not my deal. But like, I love a lot of stoner metal stuff and like Sleep, Matt Pike, High on Fire. Are you kidding me?
Great
First
stuff.
time I heard Rumors of War, I was like, what the fuck is this? I was like, what is? He has 9 strings on his guitar, but it's like not a 9, and like he's just screaming at me. What is happening? And like,
it's where you saw Black Sabbath and you're like, okay, this is logically where it goes to. And it pushed it to such a degree. I mean, Sleep was like that. The big one for me was Electric Wizard's Dope Throne record. Yeah. I remember when I was 16 and I downloaded it. And this is back in my day when we had to steal music.
Shout out to Napster.
Yeah.
LimeWire.
No. This is when because you had LimeWire and stuff like that, and then you had torrents, and torrents were good if you want to get like full catalogs of records. But the downside of torrents too was there was some stuff you just couldn't find, especially some obscure metal stuff. So you'd have to go on these blog spots, and then go to like those Mediafire, like sketchy raw links. You're on some Russian website, and you're like, oh yeah, that's the download. Click, and it's like, wait, 19 seconds. Rapid Share, that was the other classic. And I remember downloading that record and just putting it on, and I was like, this is the best, most insane, ridiculous, stupid, heavy guitar tone. And I could bathe in it. I could live in the fuzz. I could just live in it. I just wish I was there. I would live in that fuzz 100% for the rest of my life.
That was a great tones. Like, just that fuzz, you can't beat it, man.
Oh, you can't beat it. And I mean, so some of the stuff that we did in Rawls Royce, which is, I mean, you wouldn't think, but like there were points on the record where I was just like, I wish I could push it that far. Everybody would be like, well, you have too much distortion on your guitar. Could you just turn it down a little bit? And I'm like, there's not enough fuzz. We need more fuzz.
Would you tell Matt Pike to turn his gain down? Yeah. Like, fuck you.
Would you tell Picasso to put down his paintbrush? No, no, you wouldn't.
I'm an artist. I am keeping metal alive.
Yep,
I invented punk rock.
Yeah. Oh,
I will now.
I did everything, man. First man in space, right here.
Fuck yeah. First interview on the Hotter Show too. No big deal.
Oh no, no biggie, no biggie. All right.
But like, that's great. I just it's cool because I'm learning so much stuff. Like even the like I said on part 1 that you sent me this nice little blurb that had all this great information, but I wouldn't have picked you as a stoner metal fan either. I just wouldn't have.
I like everything. I like all music except for contemporary pop punk music. I don't really listen to it. I'm not even laughing. I really don't. I just don't.
We defend pop punk here on the Harder Show.
I defend it. Defend away. But I don't know. I don't really listen to it.
I don't really. Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to everybody. You're not gonna catch me in my car listening to pop punk. It's rare.
Whoa! This guy
rare, but
now he says that he has the balls to say that to the Rolls Royce guy over here. All right.
But you will catch me listening to that. Yo, bro, on my way home, on my way to work, and on my way home tonight, I was listening to 6 Beers on repeat.
6 beers in the shower, man. World's gone to hell. Eating the same things.
I love that lyric. I love it.
Yeah.
I want to make did you guys ever make a video for that or anything? I want to make a video for it.
Honestly, I'd like to. Yeah, no, we're like the least organized band. I mean, we're good in terms of filing taxes and stuff, But I mean, we're really bad at just doing band things.
Taxes.
We thought about making T-shirts once, and then we're like, I don't know, man. That's just kind of like now you're like a brand.
That's
we don't want to do
work.
that. We're not about that. You know, Rolls Royce is about showing up to the party, laying down. Everybody's like, yo, what the hell is going on? Was that guy on the floor for some reason? And then boom, we're out, done. You know,
Scream some Creed covers.
That's it. That's it. I mean, we want to battle the bands doing that. We want to battle the bands, and it was to play Koi Festival, which has now become Hope Fest in Kitchener-Waterloo. We played against like some pretty serious guys. There was actually a very good technical death metal band there that has a lot of traction on forums on Facebook. They're a band called APOC, but AEPOCH, and they're kind of like Obscura, Necrophagus, very much in that kind of camp. And they shred
really technical death metal,
super tech stuff. Like just everybody sweeping, the bass player's sweeping, you know, the janitor in the background sweeping, everybody's sweeping.
The janitor's sweeping in the background.
And they finished their set. They finished their set with a cover of like I think it was Living Deadbeat or something. It was a Bodum cover, and they just nail it. They nail a Bodum cover. You know how ballsy that is to do a Bodum cover. It is so ballsy, so ballsy. Like that.
Huge
that's like
balls.
Saying, that's like, oh, hold this. I know what I'm doing.
By the way, guys, I'd like to announce right now I'm going to do a cover of "Smells Like Teen Spirit," which is the most ballsy song on the cover, I think, to this day, because no one can do it.
Yeah, no, I think that's a tough. No, you got to do a shoegaze version. Just like stick on all the reverbs, just max it out. Turn the lights out.
I would do the. What was it when they were? What was that video where they're mocking because they were like, "Oh, you guys, we're gonna play we're gonna do backtrack," and Kurt was like, "Fuck that," and he's sitting there doing this. He's just like, "Hello, girls, Fridays."
Yeah, I think they were on Top of the Pops when they did that. It was top of the Pops. Yeah,
92, I believe, or 93.
Yeah. Well, because all Tops of the Pops, like, it's ridiculous because you don't play your instrument, you just lip sync. It was like the silliest show. Yeah, playing all the wrong chords.
Then he just stops, and he's just like, Dave Grohl is like literally just doing this. He's not even. I was like, man, that's great. But you were, but like, so you were playing this Battle of the Bands. Yeah, you were telling a pretty good story there, and
so pretty much every other band at this Battle of the Bands was significantly more competent than we were. We show up. So this is what I was using for equipment at the time, because I was using a Line 6 Flextone 3 2x12.
You know, we appreciate Line 6 here on this podcast. I'm not even being funny. One of the best amps I've ever used was a Line 6 HD 147.
Okay,
come at me.
Fair enough.
Those Flextone amps were great. They really were.
You know how those there's like a guitar culture, toxic guitar culture. That's just like, yo, you can't have Line 6 Flextones. Like, what are you doing? You know,
can't do it.
Line 6 bad, digital bad. I mean, I like analog now. I'm starting to become like that guy because I started using like Vox AC 30s and stuff like that. But anyway, so we show up. We have one Line 6 Flextone 3. We're using someone else's drum kit. We're using someone else's bass amp. We had no pedals. We just plug in. I'm like 4 beers, like 4 pints in before we even get on stage. And we won. I don't know how. I don't know.
Like, what were you guys playing? Were you playing covers or were you playing?
We just played our set. We just played what we play. We just went in there and we were. Dude, I was so drunk. I don't even remember what happened. I just remember winning at the end. We had people buying us shots as we were playing. Now, this was before we recorded it and so on. So this is like the mindset that we were in performing.
So the first EP, or I guess technically record,
first EP.
It's a 7 song. So it was whatever, depending on what you want to call it. So like you guys had originals at that point, and you had your little bit of folk. Okay, so that's,
we played that, and we finished it with we play as a cover. We play All These Things That I've Done by the Killers.
That's a kind of an obscure Killers song. That's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of a very emotional kind of track. And normally what happens is I put my guitar down and I get into the audience and I roll around on the floor and steal people's drinks and stuff like that. No, I'm serious. Like that's every show.
He's just like, no, there's nothing funny about it, dude. I'm being serious.
Actually, I think the picture that I gave for you for this, I did exactly just that.
Yeah. You were in the crowd like screaming, so I was like, I don't know what's going on here, but I want to know.
I was screaming all these things that I've done by the Killers. And yeah, so we closed with that, and just people were so lit. They were so lit. And yeah, so we went in to record and so on. It was that energy, and it was that night in particular, because we were just so loaded. But that whole night and how we played there, we were like, okay, well, like, how do we bring that in for recording the EP? And it was just trying to re-envision that night.
And kind of the whole vibe around that. And like what I said on part one, doing it a little bit earlier, we're like, you guys just, the second I put on the EP, I'm just like, I feel like I'm sitting I literally said on the review, I feel like I'm sitting in a bar with all my friends. Everyone's having a good time. Everyone's all friends. And we're just like singing along this great music. That's literally how it feels.
That is. I mean, the only thing that I suppose we do, and I don't want to ruin the magic of the songs and what they mean or anything like that. Do you like that? Do you like when people tell you what songs mean, or do you think like, the author should be dead and it should just be about my own interpretation of the song? Or
I do and I don't. Me personally, because I dabbled a lot with lyrics in my life, like in like writing lyrics and that. I think it depends on the genre.
I could ruin them all for you. I could ruin them all right now. You never look at them the same again. I could pinpoint every specific detail. I'll be like, that's what I meant there.
Yeah, and some bands like that, and like some people like that. Like I was the guy who, I still do. Where I get the album, the actual physical copy, and I open up the lyric book and I look at the lyrics and I'm like, oh, I wonder what that means. And like I really like to look at that stuff. But a lot of people nowadays, they just don't give a shit. It's not even that they don't want to know; they just don't give a shit.
Yeah, maybe.
So I'm like,
what? So you telling me that like Kodiak Black and like Lil Boat and Lil
Cardi
Pump
B.
and all, Cardi B. No, I mean actually no. All mad love for Cardi B. Cardi B I do like a lot. And it's not even a guilty pleasure. I don't even care.
Fake.
Yeah.
No, but I'm curious. We've talked a lot about Rawls Royce and that, and I'm curious. When exactly and how exactly did that whole, I guess we'll say, party start for you and the guys? Like, when did this all kind of start to come together with this band?
Yeah, so a lot of it started when we were in grad school. Mitch and I would get together, and he'd come over to my apartment, and we'd just drink beers and kind of play songs and stuff like that. Mitch was definitely more focused on like the contemporary pop punk stuff, like the Wonder Years, stuff like that. I was like, oh, okay, well, this is a person I know who plays guitar. I'm in a strange city. Oh, here we go. Product placement. But okay. Yeah, this is very subtle. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Like, just who cares? You're just interviewing me. I'm not commercial. Like, anyways, I don't even know what that beer tastes like. I can't even say if it's good or not. So there you go. I'm going to give you a very ambivalent rating on it. Mitch would be playing that kind of stuff, and then I'd start joining in, and then he lived with Johnny at the time. They were roommates, and we got together, and we just started playing tunes that we knew and playing stuff that was simple and easy that we could kind of push out quickly. And the whole drinking beer was just part of the culture of school, because we all went to Western, and Western is an immensely like party town.
Yeah, our kind of party.
So it just kind of went hand in hand with it, and then it just kind of carried on.
It just never stopped.
It just never stopped. Yeah, that was it. Then we started writing music, and we just wrote more and more music, and we're still writing music. So yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. Well, I want to ask about I'm going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, I want to ask Will about what he thinks each band member brings to the table. I'm going to put him on the spot here on record.
Okay. Yeah.
But
easily.
Before we do that, Before we do that, I want to take a quick second to hear a word from my man, Mr. Jason Reese from Jaybird Digital Arts.
It's your guy Jaybird here from Jaybird Digital Arts, reminding you to tune in to the Hotter Show podcast. Hell, tune into all of the Podbeard Network shows, and not just because they support Jaybird, but because they're good. And I'll give you a discount on design work if you do. Beat that deal, I dare ya.
All right, so we're back with my man Will. I almost called you Roy for some reason. Will.
Roy, I'm Roy from Rawls Royce.
I guess that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Rolls
I'm
Royce.
the Roy. I'm me and Len Zeppelin. We go way back, man. Me
He's
and
my
Len.
boy.
I get
He's
the
my
Len
dude.
out. Yeah.
Get the letter out. Oh man. So before the break, I was saying I'm curious what your thoughts on each member of the band is and what you feel they bring to the table. And also I'm gonna add, how did you kind of get introduced to each member of the band?
Okay. Which member do you want me to start with? I'll start with myself. So I was born, and then I was like, "Yo,
Then you
you're
met
pretty
yourself.
sick," and objectively the best member in the band. Okay, but beyond
Objectively,
that,
objectively the best member.
objectively, that facts don't care about your
He's
feelings.
not going to go on record, but he's
no, it's
allegedly
not,
the best.
allegedly. No, objective. True facts here. No spin zone. I met Mitch. Actually, I met Johnny first in like the grad program. What he brings to the band is muscle, heart, and a good sense of actually how music theory works, which is a valuable asset. He takes his shirt off every show. He's the only person in the band that's in shape, but I think he's also the only person that's consistently single. So, you know,
So
you always got to be on the
a
market.
reason. Yeah, I got you.
You can't let the good spoil.
Hey man, if you got it, flaunt it. That's it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, he's got it. Yeah. Yeah. So, he writes a lot of the percussion. He wrote a lot of the bass that was on our first EP because Kyle wasn't in the band yet. And our first EP was just us three. And like basically, like I'll give him riffs and some ideas, and he'll be like, "No, your rhythm here is stupid. This should be in a different time signature. You're wrong."
It's good to have someone like that, though. I think in a band, you know.
Oh yeah, no. He's kind of like the elder in the background, like the elder statesman. He's the one that's willing to be like, "No, you're wrong. This is how you should do it. This is the right way to do things." And I'm an only child, and he's also an only child, so we're both really like kind of hard-headed.
Okay. You get that, yeah.
Yeah. So that's just we're kind of the two different poles of the band. But he definitely makes things like good. Like I know that like I'm kind of more of a melody guy. He's definitely the rhythm guy through and through. And he also plays guitar. He probably is the best guitar player in the band, but he plays drums.
Okay. It's good to have that though.
Oh no,
all these guitar players hanging around. It's never bad to have
just a totally competent guy. Mitch, I know also. I knew him from grad school. We got together. He is, I think, the one that really kind of guides the band as what we're doing. Because I think if it was just up to me and Johnny, it would just be a train wreck. Like Johnny listens to John Mayer and like funk music most of the time, and I listen to death metal. I don't know what that, and black metal and Sonic Youth and just whatever, anything. I just listen to abrasive and weird shit, and I think we'd be doing something really strange, maybe better, who knows? But Mitch kind of keeps it. He grounds it into the genre we play. He's really into a lot of the kind of more twinkly pop punk, but like almost mathy, you know, that kind of stuff, mathy kind of guitar parts, and he adds that to a lot of the songs we have. So like songs like I'm trying to think on the record, like he wrote And So On, like he wrote all the guitar parts and so on. He played the lead parts in it, and the way it kind of floats and moves around. I mean, that is his baby, and he did an excellent job on it. I did not write that song, and I couldn't. But like that is how he thinks of sort of writing, and he has always had this kind of folky, mathy kind of approach to guitar. Like, you know, we don't really do guitar solos. I mean, sometimes we have little licks and stuff like that, but it's more about like trying to add things in and trying to create layers. And I think he does a really good job of that. And also, you know, I can write like kind of a main riff or whatever, and he's an excellent person to bounce ideas back on, and vice versa. He'll give me a riff and we'll bounce things back and forth. So he is like, him and I are like interchangeable in the song. Like he is like the brain trust in the band. Like he's very important. VIP.
Very important person.
And then there's, I guess you have to spell that out. No, and then there's
just in case you guys weren't aware.
Yeah. I know.
That's what VIP means. You heard it here first.
Plant. No, I mean, and then last but not least is Kyle, who is kind of the dad of the band. He is so responsible he's like everybody else, like we'll all just kind of get drunk and play it, and like Kyle will be like, I'll drive you guys home, don't worry about it.
Well, dude, don't worry about it, man.
Don't worry about it. Like, we practice at his like parents' place. I mean, the whole high band family, they're all great people. They all show up. They all let us play very loudly in their basement. I don't know anybody's parents who would let their far too old children, man babies, play music very loudly into the middle of the night. So thank you. So Kyle brings that. He brings just a loving spirit, a beautiful soul, a kind heart, and the ability to file my income tax.
That's a big one.
That is a big one. Yeah, he's the CFO. He's the competent person in the band. And in terms of what he does on bass, like he adds like some really nice bass textures. You hear it on songs like Last of the Enforcers during the verse portion where he kind of climbs in there. It's really cool stuff. And he also plays guitar. Like everybody in the band plays guitar. We could just do guitars if we wanted to and be like Sunno or something like that and quick pop punk.
For sure. And that's the thing too, like when you have a band full of...
Oh man, I said Sunno. I'm gonna get grilled so hard. It's just Sun.
Yeah,
just Sun.
Just Sun. He retracted it. It's okay.
That's shameful.
The metal elitists are gonna
you better cut that. Yeah, you better cut that. All right.
But the cool thing is with you guys as well is there's something that you guys bring to the table that's an extremely rare talent in a lot of bands, and that's the fact that all of you guys sing, to my knowledge, and you all sing extremely well, and you all sing like harmonized perfectly with each other. Was that something that you like when you like were forming the band? Was that okay?
No. When we were forming the band, absolutely not. There was no idea what we were doing. It was just it was more like we sang in unison because I hate going to shows and just seeing people kind of sit around. Like it was more just trying to be like, okay, like let's give it as much energy as possible, have everybody sing. There was also one of the first songs we wrote, I didn't write it actually. It was Mitch who wrote David, which is on our first EP. And they wrote that song when they were in dorms at Western, when they were in like second year in their floor dons. And they wrote the song about like him having a bad time not being able to perform because of other, and I mean perform in the, I'm not going to spell it out too much, but all I'm going to say here is
I get what you're saying.
And so
reform.
Yeah, perform. So he had some anxiety, and the song has these the way that they all started, writing this track was he wrote it out as kind of like a campfire, like kind of fun song, and everybody in the dorm would start yelling, "Oh, David!" They'd be like, "Oh, David! Oh, David!" And so one of the first times, like I went out with these guys, they do an open mic night in like London, or like this bar called Winks. And we're out there, and they start doing the song David, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And it was wicked. Everybody in the bar was singing it. No one knew who they were. They were just drunk. And so we recorded David, and it like he played all the time, and it still is a bar burner of the song. And I think there was a point of seeing that, and it was like, eureka. Like, this is it. This is what people want in music. Because people might not know who you are as a band, and they might have never heard of you before, and you only have so much time to really engage with them and capture their sort of, their interest and their attention. I mean, it's very much the Nirvana song, here we are now, entertain us.
Exactly.
And so we're up there, and you play a song like that woes, that people can whistle to, that they can, yell to, that if they're drunk enough that they're like, yeah, this is good. I can fuck with this. That is how we do our music. And we always kind of keep that in the back of our mind. So we always have like a bit of a, we call it the whistle test, that if you can't whistle to it, you toss it.
Yeah, that is such a great thing that you just said. And I said to bands a lot too. They were like, oh, like, what do you think we can do? I was like, hey man, can I hum this song? Am I going to be sitting? I mean, I'm freaking walking around work today. I keep bringing up Six Beers because that's like my song right now. Hey, I have those songs that are just like, I'm just walking around. I'm just like walking around work, humming it to myself. I'm singing it to myself. They're like, what are you singing? I'm like, it's a freaking great song, man. Check it out. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, Six Beers is a cool song, and it was written so quickly. Like I remember it was Mitch and I, and we were in his basement, and we were jamming, writing stuff like all day. And I just pick up his acoustic guitar and I play these like 3 chords, and then I'm just like, we fucked it up, we fucked it up twice. And there's like a cell phone recording, and then we built the song around that, and we recorded it, and I wrote the lyrics, I think, day before recording it, because we had multiple lyrics and we were kind of playing with different themes and stuff like that. And that is that song, and it's a great intro. It really ties the whole record.
It really is, yeah. Like I said earlier, again, starting off with, you hear the shower, you hear the beers open up.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm just like, yo, I literally want to like stand in the shower with a beer and listen to this song. It's just
true poser confession over here. I've actually never had beers in the shower.
I mean,
I've heard of them. They're mythical,
yeah.
And they sound like the. I had a friend of mine who swears by shower beers, and I don't like the idea of getting soapy water in my beer. Have you done it?
I will admit something as well on the show. I have also never had shower beers.
Never had shower beers.
So maybe one day we'll get together.
Like 6 beers in the shower is
a lot of beers
shower.
To have in the shower.
No, it's a long shower.
Unless
you're a pickle, man. Oh no, you're you'll be
Pickle
so
Will.
pruny. It'd be Pickle Will, exactly. No man, So, but I think it's about like the energy and the kind of how people would see, the imagery that you get from 6 beers in the shower. It's like, oh, fuck, man, he's got 6 beers in the shower. That's a bad day.
It's gonna be a rough day.
That's either a really good day or a really bad day, and there's no in between. Yeah.
Exactly, and this depends on how you look at it. It's either the start of a great freaking day or a really shitty day.
Really bad day, yeah.
That's awesome. But you were talking a little bit about the first EP, and that was, of course, Anarchy
Topia.
And Fruitopia. So what how did the writing process differ for that EP compared to And So On?
Well, we didn't have Kyle, and that was the biggest part of it. Was there was no Kyle, and that means that all the vocals were done by either Mitch and I, and it was just a very different energy. Like, we had no idea what we were really doing. We had never played a show before when we recorded that EP. We were just kind of given an option to record it from Eric Altamonte at Watershed, and we just did it. And every song is kind of different and kind of eclectic because it doesn't necessarily, it almost feels like kind of like a smorgasbord. It's like a hodgepodge. It doesn't really have a degree of cohesion in it. I think that's the biggest problem with it as an EP. But when there are high moments, they're really, really high. And when things do come together, they really do come together.
Yeah, there's some great stuff on there for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, there are moments on it but I mean, like, thematically, it's, some songs are like night and day. Like, you have a song like 6 Years, ironically, before we had 6 years.
Yeah.
that was a little fun we were having. Like 6 Years, like, is a serious, kind of sad song. And I mean, I think, like, that's probably one of my favorite songs that we play. But then it follows after with a song that we wrote about a Tony Hawk character, Eric Sparrow, and like that song,
Eric Sparrow, yeah,
because it's like, you're playing Tony Hawk's Underground. It's like the worst thing in the world. One of the worst experiences I think I ever had as a child, because I had no real problems in my life, was not being able to catch Eric Sparrow at the end and him mocking
dude.
Me. Yeah.
Oh my! Don't even get me started on that right now.
Yeah, no. Seriously.
I never caught him ever.
I caught him. I had to cheat though. I had to put on the moon gravity and stuff. But I caught him.
I'm still pissed about that to this day.
Oh, horrible. Horrible. So that is that. But I mean, the lyrics of that song, to spoil it, don't really deal with Eric Sparrow. Eric Sparrow is largely sort of a metaphor. A lot of the lyrics for that song are based on George Orwell's Homage to Catalonia, which is sort of an autobiographical account of his experiences fighting in the Spanish Civil War. And a lot that's sort of alluded to is honestly taken right from Homage to Catalonia.
Okay. I
didn't write that song. That was Mitch. But, like, yeah. So, I mean, we've always had this weird kind of political undertone in pretty much every song that we do write. What it is we like to say, okay, well, here's this music that's catchy and that's very upbeat and that's in major chords. But we're going to kind of slip in more serious subject matter in the liner notes, and then kind of play with it. And that's the kind of the beauty of it.
And it's something that you don't. I mean, me as a listener, I'm going, okay, yeah, this is good stuff. But like, I wouldn't. If you told me that, I'm just sitting there like, what?
No.
Like, what?
I mean, it's kind of crazy because everybody in the band has all this extensive knowledge on some of these subjects. So it's just like some songs just are pissing contests amongst each other to like what kind of weird shit we can reference in that no one gets because no one listens to our music. So. It's almost like
I
listen.
listen.
It's a game. It's like a game amongst each other. It's just trying to like kind of one up each other. Like in the song and so on. Like a part of the song is about Mitch's breakup before he went to law school, and the other part of the song is about a female revolutionary by the name of Rosa Luxemburg in the Weimar Republic in the 1930s before she was gunned down by the Social Democratic Party and the Freikorps, who the Freikorps would later form the basis of the Nazis who killed her, basically. Like that part of the song, I took an entire section of Bertolt Brecht's poem from that time, and I said 1930, I should have said like 1920, and I took that segment and like in the part where it's like to the rivers. The opal haven't shown, catching hold of her footsteps, carry on. That's literally lifted from the the English translation of the German onto it, and no one's caught it. So yeah, spoiler.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I mean, I sure as shit wouldn't have caught it. I'm sitting here like, I mean, this is fascinating, but I'm like, fuck, I wouldn't have known that.
And another piece. So at the end where I'm like, I will never forget. At the end, a lot of that is about the uncertainty of the band. Because when we were recording and so on, like there was a total possibility that we thought the band would be over, because Mitch was moving to New Brunswick, and Johnny at the time was moving to Ottawa, and we thought like. We won that Battle of the Bands, by the way, and we were supposed to play at that festival with like Cancer Bats and Silverstein and all these like cool cats. Okay. Yeah, no, it was like a serious gig, and like we couldn't play it because everybody got into school somewhere. And then I was like, oh shit, like I think maybe we're over. And so that was what it was. We kind of put so much energy into
There was a lot of real emotion in
that
as well.
Yeah, it was like this could be our last shot doing it. Like we could all go back to civilian life and never record a record together again. And that is at the end of it. It is like a bit of a coda. That's how we treat it. But fortunately, we're still going to record. So, you know.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah. Yeah.
With the with and so on, comparing it to the first EP. Obviously, bringing Kyle into the mix, was there any other kind of like big differences as far as the writing and recording process compared to the first EP? Or
yeah, absolutely. Kyle's vocal range being higher than mine, I think I'm more of like a tenor. I mean,
yeah, there's a little bit more harmonies going on there.
Yeah, Kyle pulls all the high notes, man. He pulls all the high notes. Like within the band, it's like I do kind of the tenor stuff. Kyle goes higher. Mitch is more like a foghorn of a human being. Like he just has a big yell. He just, he can belt it. And the best part about like playing live is like, sometimes I got to play guitar. I'm tired. I have so many freaking verses, and I can just like, when it comes to some chorus sections or woe sections, I can just kind of take a step back and kind of
let him carry
the guys
take over.
Yeah. So, and then Johnny adds vocals here and there, but Johnny is he doesn't do as much group vocals as us three up in the front.
But he adds in when he can.
He does. He
tries. He's doing his best. Okay.
Yeah. He's only playing drums, like whatever. I didn't expect him to be Phil Collins or anything.
I'm expecting a solo from him, solo Phil Collins style.
Oh yeah, maybe we should do
in
that.
the air tonight.
You should do it.
You should pull it off.
I want him to go above the bar line, do some jazz fusion stuff.
Pull it off, man. Come on.
He can do it. He's fully capable.
But I have to ask about one particular song.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? Love 6 Beers.
Okay.
As you know, my favorite song on the EP was Last of the Enforcers.
Yep,
which or Enforcers.
Mm-hmm.
Enforcers? I keep
Enforcers,
saying it wrong.
yeah.
Enforcers. I was saying it right. That's my speech impediment coming out there. But like with me, I'm not a hockey guy, right? And to my understanding, that song is about so this is why I wanted to ask, because you put up a status not all that long ago about that hockey mascot whose name I'm
Gritty,
like
Gritty,
and how that's kind of his song now. But like, what's the deal with that song? Because it's got, out of all the songs on the EP, like I like all the songs and I still do, but that was one that kind of I went like, whoa, like that riff's very like, it's not a very like punk rock riff. It's almost more like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's very
the riff is it's like, I don't know. I think I stole it more from like kind of like first wave emo bands.
Yeah,
it has that kind of.
It's kind of like that early 2000s like kind of.
I'd say even earlier. I'd say like 90s, like listen to like Sunny Day Real Estate or
yes. That's what I'm trying to pinpoint that, and that's what it.
Like Captain Jazz or something like that. Yeah, no, it definitely has that kind of riff, and then we kind of do the cowboy chords for the choruses, but then we move it around a bit. There's a lot of play in it. And yeah, no, I kind of was doodling with the guitar and wrote it, and it just kind of came out as it was. And it has kind of a weird timing structure and stuff like that. But yeah, so the Gritty business. So Gritty is the mascot of the Philadelphia Flyers. Mitch in the band is a huge fan of the Philadelphia Flyers, the Broad Street Bullies. But Gritty has kind of taken on sort of this personality in sort of politics in the United States now. So like Gritty, although being this sort of like hockey mascot and looking just bizarre and ridiculous, is like this kind of working class hero type.
Oh, absolutely is.
Type kind of character, and is very well associated with anti-fascism in the United States. So, and the song, not to spoil us, the Enforcers, has lots of digs at those sort of. We dig a lot at the alt-right in that song, but we use hockey metaphors as this kind of.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to ask about it.
Yeah, it's just the band likes hockey a lot, but I like the idea of playing with like sports or playing with sort of the metaphor of it, and just how ridiculous and like overtly Canadian it is, but then also having like these sort of serious subjects that are kind of interlined into it. But yeah, like, you know, I make fun of a lot of things in that song. I'm just kind of mean. It's a lot of shit talking in that song. A lot of luck.
Well, I mean, I think it given the vibe of the song itself with that riff, now I think it all works out. And I mean, like, I'm not a sports guy even freaking remote. Like, I'm the worst Canadian ever because like I don't even watch hockey or anything. But like,
it's okay.
I heard that, I'm like, man, like I feel like it's not quite as on the nose as it seems. Like, I'm like, I've almost said this is like a hockey song, but I'm like, no, there's no way it is. It's got to be metaphors, and I think it was something.
It's like a lot of it is. So the line, like the first line in the song is, "You say heritage is not hate," and like that is a line that is used a lot by white supremacists on the internet to basically say, okay, well, no, man, I just really like the South. That's why I have it. It's like, oh yeah, no, it's true. It has nothing to do with having slave owning or anything like that. Not at all. Nothing. So like that's kind of a no, not at all. The Civil War, slavery was not about the Civil War. You know, there's this thing that is promoted. I mean, now, you know, like when I wrote that song, I wrote it immediately after the sort of Charlottesville protest, Charlottesville Valley. Yeah, that's when I wrote it because it was about a year before. And I mean now, like especially with the New Zealand shooter, it seems almost more kind of relevant.
It's getting more and more relevant. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, it was something that, you know, just terrified me back then. And you know, even stuff like there's this big sort of hoopla about sort of white genocide, like the end of white people and stuff like that. In that song, I kind of make fun of that, where I'm just like, you know, more like come in a napkin. Like it's like, you know, if white people are, you know, ending, it's you know, it's just because you're just kind of a loser and you can't get laid or whatever.
That's,
you know,
why a lot of those. I mean, I don't even want to.
I don't even want to dig into that too
Part
much.
of me wants to. I would be like, yo, let's fucking go, man.
Yeah,
I'm like,
let's go.
I don't usually talk about that on the show, but like, I do agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, no, in that sense, yeah, and I mean, like, even in the sense where people say, okay, well, we should give these people platforms, we should give neo-Nazis and white supremacists platforms. I then draw in the part where it's like, there's no room for conversation on Omaha Beach, and that's a line to D-Day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna sit there, I'm gonna be nice to you while you fucking shoot me. Like, no, I don't buy that for a second. And I mean, so it's a political song, and like the whole business about enforcers is that enforcers in hockey serve a purpose to protect good players, right? And they're there to keep the pests down, who are trying to instigate fights, who are trying to do things. The enforcers serve a role, and so when we say the last of the enforcers, there is to say, okay, well, look, there are people who are trying to beat up racialized minorities, who are trying to advocate for, the systematic removal of these people. It's up to you to step in and actually, and if it means like holding, and if it gets physical or whatever to that effect, I mean, it's about taking a stand and standing for something. And that, I mean, hockey, we have that. So, I mean, I don't see what's much different. People are willing to fight in a sport, but, politics, I can't
When it
fight.
comes to politics,
it's like, fuck off.
Shout out to my man, Martin of a dog named Bob. If you've ever heard that name before, he has a very, 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 very quick song called, what the fuck is the song called? Basically, in the song, I can't remember what the song's called anymore. I apologize, guys. But in the song, he asks a very simple question. Is it okay to punch a Nazi in the face? It's just, yes. And I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, it is. I don't know.
The problem is people play too much Call of Duty, and they played on the German side, and they got a little too empathetic. Their KD ratios were too good, and here we are.
Someone in my immediate life who I'm not gonna say anything more. It's not someone I'm friends with. Let me just say that. Said to me one day, and I will never forget this. This is how I realized how fucked up society is getting.
Yeah.
He looked me dead in the eye, and he said, I feel like history demonized the Nazis.
There we go.
I went, what the fuck did you just say?
There you go, man.
And I was like, and he's like, well, at the end of the day, I said, get the fuck out of my face.
They had a really good highway. Yeah. They had the Autobahn.
It's like, wait, whoa, what the fuck did you?
Dude, set that bar low, man. Just keep going lower.
Oh my god. What?
One of the reasons when I was younger, I kind of got really turned off with even my local metal scene, and when I was growing up in Vaughan and stuff like that, was there was a really nasty contingent of it that just were literal neo-Nazis. And it just was the case. And I there was a point where I couldn't fucking deal with it. I couldn't associate with it. I got into fights with people over it back then. And I mean, even now, it's and people were saying shit like that back then. And now it's like, oh man, I see people marching over it. I see some guys shooting up a bunch of people in New Zealand over it. And I say, boy, even if back then I thought, oh, maybe that's just going to be a small segmented part of society, it's not going to, and it's not. And and unfortunately, even platforms like YouTube, where people would be watching there's this one video of someone watching just regular Minecraft tutorials, and they left autoplay on. And within 2 hours, it started getting into this weird white supremacist stuff. And it's weird because how the algorithms go, and how I think a lot of people within the far right use sort of video game culture to sort of mask a lot of their ideas and to complain about certain things, be like, oh, well, they're coming after my video games, blah, 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 blah. I think it's leading a lot of kids who might be disaffected into these sort of really scary ideology.
Far right, because don't get me wrong,
dangerous shit.
I have people. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I have people in my life who they see themselves as the right, right, and I'm like, okay, look, I'm not a political guy. As time goes on, I'm like, okay, I feel like I need to pay more attention, but that's another conversation for another time.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Where they're I have people in my life who are American, and they're pro-gun, they're this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hey, look, at the core of what you're saying, I understand and agree with you. But I'm like, the problem is it's the far right people that I'm like, what are you saying? Oh, my God.
And I think, there is a responsibility, I think, even within some elements of the right now where, they've given space for people to say things and kind of push the envelope further and further. And a lot of it is to say, oh, well, he's just saying it to troll. He's owning the libs. He's just being controversial. And it's like, well, how much of that is sincere? And then it seems like every year we're at the point right now in the United States, like there's kids in fucking camps because they have the wrong citizenship. And we suddenly say, oh, well, that's acceptable. This is policy as usual. I mean, I don't know at what point where someone could say, oh, well, this is defending my constitutional rights to I'm willing to deny someone else their humanity because they're not a citizen. Right, like I think there's points
draw the
where
fucking line.
I know, seriously, like there's a point where we have to actually be serious about it, and I think 2016 was a big year for that. Anyways, I don't want to get too into politics here. I don't want to piss off.
Hey,
you're gonna
let's not talk about it. But I'm like, that's it.
No, let's talk about it.
That being said, let me say this real quick.
Okay.
This is gonna piss a lot of people off too, but I don't care. I think the far left, have some issues too. Let me just get that out there. Right. Moving on. Oh, I'm talking the far left.
You're talking to some far left right now, man.
Far left. I'm not sitting here saying, how can you say abortion isn't wrong? I'm not saying that. I'm not anything like that at all. But sometimes I hear the peeps and I'm like,
I don't know, man. I'm pretty far left. I'm over here. I'm on the left side of your screen.
But
I seem so reasonable. Yeah, I know, because I think there actually is a lot of it that's super reasonable.
There really is. Whereas some of the far some of the far right guys, I'm like, okay, what do you say?
You want some literature, my guy? I can give you some newspapers.
We're gonna have
some pamphlets.
We're gonna have to do part 3 of this and have
I'll state this right now, like just to come out with it, like. I'm a big supporter of a lot of like the BreadTube YouTube videos that are going on. So like people like ContraPoints, H Bomber Guy, Philosophy Tube, stuff like that. I mean, they do some really interesting and some really interesting far left social criticisms, which I think are pretty valuable and are super reasonable. Also, big shout out to the left podcast.
The left podcast.
All the left podcasts.
Well, I mean, with me too, I think it's when I think with me too, it's like I said earlier, like, I'm not a political guy, and as time goes on, I like where I am, where I go, okay, I will hear what anybody has to say for the most part.
Yeah,
I will always listen to what the left has to say because I find myself going, yeah. Like if I had to pick a side, I'd be fully left 100%. So I'm like,
I'm not trying to tell you to pick a side. Man.
No,
There's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah. But like with me, and that's why I like where I'm at. I'm okay. I can kind of like, hey man, I understand why maybe concealed carry for some parts of the world might not be a terrible idea.
Well, I mean,
but
the left kind of goes in different directions on the issue of guns.
Yeah.
Because there are some like liberals and progressives who are for gun control and stuff like that and sensible gun policies as they're described. But then there are some like Maoists who are just like, nah, man, how are we gonna overthrow the government if we don't have guns?
Whereas I'm like, okay,
the
point is we shouldn't have to.
I mean, people, at some point, you go full horseshoe.
It's just like, wait, what are we saying anymore?
Words.
Oh
man.
shit!
What's that meaning?
I'm telling you right now, you need to do a podcast. We were talking about this on the break.
Ideally. I don't think I'd work again if I did one.
They'd be like, we heard what you said on your podcast.
Oh, yeah, it'd be terrible. Yeah, no, I'd be barred from places. It would just be horrible. No.
Oh, my God. But as we get ready to wind it down here, and I mean, we've had a lot of great fun tangents in that, and this has been a lot of fun for me, man. But I want to ask, I know that right now, you've talked a little bit about the guys and how you guys are kind of scattered a little bit right now.
Yeah.
But what's next for the band? Like what are you guys kind of planning anything right now? Or?
Oh, absolutely. No. We're planning to go back in and record this year. That's the big thing. I don't even know if we're gonna play that many shows this year. Like I think we're gonna kind of keep it low and just try to churn out more material. We played a lot last year, shows and stuff like that, but I think I just want a bigger catalog to sort of play from. And I think there's areas and ways that we can kind of push the music that would be, I think, just better. And there's like I still have about 4 songs in the bank that I want to record. So just been kind of sitting on it for a year and being like, okay, all right, now's the time. It's time to hanker, to get rid of the itch and go back in.
Cool. That's good to hear. Because I know that, like you said earlier, about how like you guys are kind of playing something, and I'm like, I hope it's recording. That's what. As much as I like
absolutely.
seeing bands play live and stuff, it's like because I'm the worst showgoer in the world.
Oh, I don't blame you. It's tough.
I'm that
It's tough
guy
to go
that's
out.
like, well, it's just even tonight. There's this great show going on, or it was going on, and I'm like, well, shit, man. I work till 10. You guys going at 9.
Yeah.
Like,
There's nothing you can do. Like you know, sometimes it's too difficult to go out and stuff like that. And like honestly, like I don't know, you know, how music is moving now and how expensive it is for people to run venues and to pay performers. You know, I do wonder if how much of it is just going to move online or how much of it is just like there's a band, there's a pop punk band in I think Mississauga. They're called Minority 905. And a lot of the stuff they do is just all online. Like they do play shows now, but like a lot of the stuff they do were just videos online, and they built a pretty substantial following just doing that, and to some degree almost a better following because now you have people who are actually going to pay for your music, and you know, and you're not just going to give half your money to a no, yeah, but you're not getting all your money's not going to the promoter, to the bar, or whatever, of course, right? Like, you know, and maybe that's a more viable economic model going forward. I don't know what the hell we're going to do. I just like making music. I think everybody in the band likes making music. And I think we like to make stuff that has kind of different meanings, that plays with things, that's fun to play. And the fact that I like that we can just pull up, play somewhere, tear it down, go, you know?
Like a thief of the night.
Yeah. Oh, that's
it.
Just
show up, do your thing, and you sneak out the back door.
Exactly. Yeah. And maybe one day we'll sell T-shirts, but until then, I don't know. I don't like selling things. I don't know. I feel weird about it. It feels like a business.
Like,
yeah, no. Yeah, it's like honestly, if it like I think we left like our band camp like not paid for a long time. It's like do whatever. Like, if you want it, you want it.
You want to give us money, cool. If not,
like whatever. I would have paid for this myself anyways. Like I would have paid to make this. So like if you like it, great. You know, I hope that's it. You know, but I have nothing else to say other than that.
Well, for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like anyone who creates, you know, is they just want to get their art, so to speak, out there.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's something that'll sit inside you. I mean, like sometimes even when we were writing like the melodies and stuff like that, like in the same way that you had that in your head, like you had 6 years in your head. I mean, I had 6 years in my head before it was even recorded, and it would be stuck in my head. And I just need to record it, get it out, and then
get it out. Yeah.
Next, you know, like keep moving here.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Absolutely. And I mean, it's like that with most people with, you know, if you have that creative bug, so to speak, at some point you're going to, you know, I even do that with podcasting. I'll be like, oh, I get this idea. I got to get it out.
Well, it's just, like it torments you for like days and weeks. And even in the case of like years where you're just like, okay, I need to record this. It needs to sound like this. And then I can be like, I can sleep again.
And that's how you know it's good too, by the way.
Oh yeah. No, it should drive you to madness, like sheer madness.
For sure. So where can the good people find you and Rawls Royce on the interwebs?
We have a Bandcamp, a Spotify, a Deezer, a Tidal, iTunes Music, a Google Play Music. Just go and like stream us. You know what you're doing. You're adults. Type in Rawls Royce, RAWLS ROYCE, and be like, hey, do you like good times? Do you like good music? Like talking about things? Maybe check it out. If not, like that's cool too. Like you got a million other bands to listen to, and I only make a penny off the songs, so whatever.
Making 6 cents on the.
I made a whole $5 last year. I saw a return. I started talking.
Oh shit! There you go. That's great. Well, man, I always like to ask this question as we get ready to send off here. Do you have like kind of a favorite, or depending on your point of view, least favorite show that you've ever played?
Well, I'd say, as I think I mentioned in the last segment, and I forget how long ago that was, but like, yeah, the Koi show, definitely the best show we ever played. It was one of them. We also played a food bank show the week, or maybe almost a month later, or no, whatever, 3 months, whatever. I don't know. I don't know how dates work. Anyways, we played a show that was also pretty similar to that, where it was a really good vibe. It was, it was a Christmas show, and it was really, really good. The least favorite show I played was the last show we played last Christmas. My head wasn't in it. I was sick of the songs. I just wanted to make new things, and I'm just like, I didn't want to touch these old songs until I get new stuff out. just dissatisfied. I had it like a grimace on my face. Though I was just like, yeah, okay, the woe section, whoa, it's fun, but it's like after a while you're like, I feel like I'm ripping people off. It's like it's like sometimes we'll have like a core group of people who comes out. A lot of them are Mitch's friends from Waterloo and stuff like that. And they'll all come out, and it's like, I feel bad for you. Like, you deserve new songs. Like, you shouldn't have to be listening to this set. Like, we'll throw in like new covers and stuff like that. Like, and even at the end we played David, and then the last like 4 bars of it we switched it and went into Zombie by the Cranberries.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I mean, that was kind of fun. And it was like, but in the part of me is like, okay, am I really stepping up the game here? Am I really pushing it? No, it's like, I want to push it.
I get it. Yeah. After a while, you want to do something different.
You get sick of it. You just get sick of it, and you just be like, okay, like, you're seeing me now, but it's like, this is, I know this is where it could be. It could be that much more. And, I'm not satisfied until then.
Constantly trying to better yourself in the band. Basically.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's a race against yourself. It's Doom Time Trials. That's what it feels like. Yeah.
For sure. Well, my man, this has been an absolute freaking blast talking with you the last 2-ish hours. It's been a lot of fun, man.
Been wild times, man.
Yeah, man. We're gonna definitely. I feel like we're gonna have to have you on for like a philosophy chat or something.
We'll man, yeah. I'll come down.
I'll take some Alpha Brain or something. And...
take your brain force, whatever soy supplement you take, whatever. I don't care. Do it up.
Oh my man. All right, man. Well, thank you very much.
All right,
it's been a pleasure.
It's been awesome being on here, and yeah, I hope to see you soon.
All right, brother.
Cheers.
All right, guys, there you have it. Part 2 of my chat with Will from Rawls Royce. Hope that you guys enjoyed it. We could have done a part freaking 3 at the rate we were going, but it was getting pretty late, so we decided to put the pin in it. But, man, what a great dude Will was. We had such a blast, if you guys couldn't tell, recording that podcast. And hope you guys got to enjoy some little background information on the band and that, and also a little bit of that political talk near the end there. Like I said in the intro, I don't usually dive into politics on the show at all because, like I always say, in my opinion, I watch and listen to podcasts and other entertainment to get away from the problems of the real world and all the bullshit that's going on. So I don't like to provide that kind of content on the show normally. Just not to mention then you get into debates with people, and that's not what I'm doing here. Okay, so if anything was said on this podcast that you disagree with, that's fine. Okay? That's okay. I'm fine with it. But I don't want to talk about it. We're not going to have this big political discussion because I'm a little worried that there might be a couple people I know who might be like, left, you're the liberal. And they start freaking out. And I'm like, relax. Okay. Yes, I see myself definitely a little more liberal than I do conservative. And a little more left-wing than right, if you will. But I'm certainly not far left, and I'm definitely not too much on the right. It is what it is. I don't want to get into it anymore. But I hope you guys enjoyed that chat. It was a lot of fun. It was super fun to edit these two. I didn't do a lot of editing. I cut a couple things we had to cut out just because we got disconnected in that. But super fun to edit. It was super fun to do this video too, as far as it is a lot more work doing the video editing. So I do hope you guys appreciate all the extra effort I've been putting in for the video editing. It's hilarious. Just with the audio, I had it down to a science, where I'd sit down and I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit down here and I'm going to tap away in order to click this, click, and I was done. It was pretty straightforward. And then now throwing the video in, it's like, oh my God, it's adding probably an extra 3 or 4 hours in total. Maybe 2 to 3 hours, not 3 to 4, but about 2 extra hours at least onto my my editing processes. So I hope that you guys do appreciate it, because either way, I appreciate you for tuning in. You right there, you watching right now, this person right here, you beautiful individual, you. Okay, I appreciate it. Whether you're watching or you are listening, if you're still listening into the audio version of the show, thank you so very much for that. I do implore you to, when I do release video podcasts in this way, to check out the video, just because there is some stuff you're gonna miss, of course, like you just missed me pointing at the camera. But like during the interview, there was a couple funny things that happened, when I was holding up the beer, for example, trying to give a little plug to Boschkun. And Will was like, "Oh, I see how it is." Like, that was a really funny moment that you had to be watching the video to really appreciate. It definitely adds a whole new dimension to the podcast. But next week, I will be returning to regular audio format, and there will still be a video version up on YouTube, but it'll just be the still image kind of thing, because I will be doing a review that I'm very, very excited about. And also, I got a couple cool things in the work. I'm really excited about some things going on. I've been super swamped in life lately, which is fine. That's cool. I like being busy. I'm not someone who likes to just sit around on my hands and look for stuff to do. I like to stay busy and be busy. Almost feel overwhelmed sometimes. I kind of like that feeling. I don't know why. I'm freaking weird. I like to leave things at the last minute sometimes, and just, I don't know. It's really weird. Maybe there's something wrong with me. I don't know. But either way, I got some cool stuff in the works. I'm super excited about a couple interviews I'm working on. I'm really excited about next week, as I will be doing a review of Single Wound's brand new EP that came out. Well, I still say it's brand new. It came out a couple months ago at this point now. But I'm really, really excited about sharing that with you guys, because it is a banger of an EP. And then the following week, we will hopefully get to one of the two interviews I'm super, super excited about. I will keep you guys posted on that. And I think that's just about all I got here. Be sure to, of course, follow my dudes in Rawls Royce wherever you find your music, on their Bandcamp as Rawls Royce. And that is Rawls as an R-A-W-L-S, Royce, ROYCE.bandcamp.com. Check out their music. As Will said, they are working on some new stuff hopefully this year. So fingers crossed. Really excited about that. Will, again, thank you, my man, for coming on the show. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on. You are welcome anytime. And start your own damn podcast, bro. Calling you out. Start your damn podcast up, okay? Seriously. Because I'd listen to it or watch it or whatever the hell format you want to do. And regardless of how you are watching this or listening to this, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you guys notice, I have been slowly begun to transfer the audio version of my show over to audioboom.com. I haven't made the official announcement yet, but I will be officially shutting down my SoundCloud. Not like before, where I switched to Podbean and was gonna change over to get rid of my SoundCloud. Excuse me. I will be for sure doing this. I don't really want to get into it, but there are some pretty legit reasons as to why I'm going to be leaving SoundCloud. So if you do listen to the show on SoundCloud, I sincerely hope you will follow me over to the Audio Boom or one of the other thousands of podcasting apps or whatever that there is that are all fully free. You can subscribe to the show on there. They're super easy. Me personally, I like to use Castbox a lot. It's super easy to use, and it's fully free. Doesn't take up a lot of room. You can set it so that you don't have to worry about using any data by accident or anything. It's super awesome. But then also, YouTube has a great app if you want to watch the show video-wise on YouTube. I do implore you to hit that subscribe button. I think I'm like 9 subscribers away from 100, which is really cool and interesting and weird because I don't really use my channel, but I've started to this past month or so, so that's pretty cool. I jumped up like 30 subscribers, so that's awesome. So thank you very much, everybody, for subscribing. And, if you enjoy my content, be sure to check out some of the other fine programming on Podbeard Network. Got a lot of great shows there. Our website is currently under construction, as we will be doing some updating to it, or I should say I have somebody who will be doing some updating for me on that because I suck at that kind of thing. And that individual also will be coming on the show soon because we have a really cool announcement that I'm super excited about, but I'm not going to say anything else. But be sure to check out some of the other fine programming on the Podbeard Network. My boy Stick, Dark Runner, of course, Creeper Sleep, as well as, Still Loading Podcast. Josh's Killer Job. He had a killer episode this past weekend, so you guys should definitely check that out. Wherever you find your podcast, check them out. Also, the Honestly Lazy Show did announce they will be coming back in some format. I know what's going on, but I don't want to say anything, okay? Let's just say your boy Stick is going to be bringing the Honestly Lazy Show back, and I'm really excited about it. It's going to be very cool. But anyway, I have rambled on enough and wasted enough of your time listening to me talk about a bunch of bullshit. So I'm going to sign off here today, guys. Again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for tuning into this episode and listening right to the end. You are amazing. I would give you a hug if I could. Virtual hug. Oh, yeah. Oh, you got a nice perfume of cologne on. Very good. Anyway, again, be sure to hit the subscribe button, leave a like or a dislike, depending on what you thought of this video. If you leave a dislike, that's okay. I still love you. But let me know why you didn't like it, because I'm always curious. I want to make my video stuff as good as I can. You know, my editing isn't great. I still have a long way to go with that. But as far as if there's any tips or anything you have, let me know. I'm always curious. Again, thank you so very much for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time on Hunch. Take it easy, guys.